We're Jim and Martha Brangenberg, and we run a ministry called I Work for Him. I'd love for you to check it out online, but that's not why we're here today. We've got a story to share with you that really God was writing on our hearts 31 years ago. So Martha and I got married as young people, and we got involved in youth ministry, and back in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And one of the kids in the youth group invited their neighbor friend to church. We started ministering to he and his wife and became very, very good friends and moved to Florida in 2003. But Bill and Marietta didn't move to Florida. They stayed in Minnesota. But Bill stayed in touch with me. And then shortly after we moved away, Bill started getting sick. He had what was called polycystic kidney disease. And over that time, as Martha could tell you, Bill went from a guy about my size to a guy almost 300 pounds because Bill's kidneys ended up being 35 pounds apiece. He said, Jim, they're going to put me on the kidney donor list. This is October of 2017. I'm like, okay, it's gotten really serious. He goes, yeah, they want to take out my kidneys, but they're hoping they can find a donor before they have to take out my kidneys. And this brings us to May of 2018, and Bill's kidneys had gotten so big, the doctor said, you don't have a donor, these have to come out. And when somebody loses their kidneys, it means you're immediately going on dialysis. And so one day in May of 2018, Bill has his kidneys taken out. They were 35 pounds each. He lost 85 pounds that day. But starting in May of 2018, Bill went on dialysis. And dialysis, for those of you that don't have a friend that's on dialysis, basically what it does is it takes all the life you have in your body and sucks it through a filter and then puts it back in your body without the life in it. And then the body starts to rebuild the blood, and every other day, Bill was looking towards the remainder of his life, every other day, to be on dialysis, and it was literally killing him. And right then and there I said, Martha, I want to get the application packet. The first part of the process was, Martha, are you okay for me to donate my kidney to Bill? And everything that could happen with that.
Yeah, and so that was really a joint conversation about, what does this really look like? What is the potential of giving up something from your own healthy body for someone else and not really knowing what the outcome is going to be? And so we prayed about it, and I had peace about it and just said, yes, I believe that it is the right thing to do. And
they came back after all of the tests that I was able to do in Florida. They came back and said to me, Jim, you're not only the right blood type, you're also very, very healthy. I know you're looking at me going, seriously, Jim, lay off the Mountain Dew. But I like it. They said, you've got, on the genetic markers, there's 6 genetic markers that match people up. You got a 50% match with Bill. You are as good as a donor as if you were a son. They told me, Jim, you're as good a match as you could be. The next step is you need to spend 3 days in a hospital up here in Minneapolis for us to test you to see if, we're going to put you through a whole round of tests to see if you really are qualified to donate your kidney. I'm like, Minneapolis is a long ways from here. But we drove up to Minneapolis knowing that this is a big deal. So she gets me the results. They come back and say, Jim, you are cleared to donate your kidney. We'd like to do it the 10th of December. I picked up the phone and I called Bill. And it was probably the most emotional phone call I've ever had in my entire life. Because I called Bill and I asked him, I said, what are you doing on December 10th? He goes, well, I don't know. Are you coming in town so we have breakfast? I'm like, yeah, I'm coming in town, but sure to be able to eat. He says, I just got approved to donate my kidney to you, and I'm going to give you my kidney. It was the most surreal experience of my entire life because Bill understood the significance of that. So we come out of the surgery, and I remember telling Martha, when I finally got a little bit coherent, I said, I feel like I just did 1,000 sit-ups. So I'm under complete medication, and I could still feel like I just did 1,000 sit-ups. And so the recovery was a little rough. And one of the cool parts, we got back together with Bill and his wife Marietta right before we left, and I said, we now share a body part, and we've spent a ton of time in prayer talking about this. We would really love to be able to walk along you guys spiritually the rest of your lives. Can we? Because we share a life together. We're like family now. I said, do you guys own a Bible? And Bill goes, no. And Marietta says, I got a Bible, but it was kind of like the one I got in CCD when I was in high school, and I can't understand it. I said, well, if we get you guys real Bibles that you can understand, study Bibles, would you guys start reading the Bible and we could start talking about it? And what's really been cool is they had never, because they had grown up Catholic, had never been encouraged to read the Bible for themselves. And so it's just an amazing story of just like, yes, they said, pray with us, walk alongside of us, and it's just been an amazing year. So we're today, a year from the surgery. Bill is running around like a chicken with his head cut off. He got to go hunting and fishing this year. He shot, I don't know if he shot a deer. I don't think he shot a deer. He got to go on vacation with his wife for the first time in a decade. He called me in May, so 5 months after the surgery. He goes, Jim, I just mowed my lawn. I said, that's cool, the grass is growing. He goes, no, Jim, I just mowed my lawn. I haven't mowed my lawn in 10 years. I couldn't handle the pressure on my stomach. And all year long, he's just been doing so good. He goes, Jim, you realize you gave me life? I said, no, I gave you my kidney. Jesus gives you life, Bill. I got to tell you, God worked amazing through this whole story. I have an amazing wife, but together we've impacted an entire family. We've impacted an entire generation of grandchildren of Bill's. But what an amazing gift God gives us. And just imagine, 50 years ago, this was barely even possible. 100 years ago, people just died. And thanks for letting us share our story. I think it's something God will use in our lives for the next 30 or 40 years, however many years we have left. But what an incredible opportunity it was to be a kidney donor.